G'day and welcome back to Torment Tides of Ranmenera. It's been a little while for me, so it may take me a little bit to remember exactly what I'm doing. We are in the depths of the bloom, and we are trying to sort out everything here. Oh right, we can slip inside the folds of a hernia to rest. We can talk to people. We could. Yep, I think we got everything we figured we could from the suit. I think ultimately we want to go down here, which means we need to block off this. And we'll need to head down there. The other thing we've got is we have this person to chat to, and we have a whole bunch of the memory things. Marecasters, that's the one to go through. This wiry young man wears drit-stained, ragged clothes and carries a wicked, jagged knife. Wet blood still stains its blade, though you see no evidence of bodies or victims. He sees you, and his mouth works in an instinctive but passionless snarl. As his gaze shifts away, he sighs deeply. His voice is flat, effectless. I'm the life-taker to core. You're in my territory. That's how it used to go, right? Get the words right, maybe the rest will come. How did you get here? I came to the bloom to kill an old friend. I followed him deep into the vast winding ways of this fell beast. He led me through a narrow vein, and then a moor took me, bit down and chewed. And this is how Dakor dies, not at the hands of a mob or on the end of a levy's blade, no. He chuckles or sobs. In the gullet of the bloom, the biggest predator of them all. Is the gullet your territory, then? I've marked it out, I've walked its paces, I know its contractions and its convulsions. Yes, mine. All mine. His confident mouth goes slack, though, hanging open at the end of his words, as though they were the only thing giving it shape. Tell me about the gullet. People, he begins, licking his ghostly lips. People dwindle down here, like candles or starving men. The bloom eats us bit by bit, until only the despair is left. Then we sink into the bloom, or throw ourselves into the whirlpool, or the moor takes us, or... He trails off, brow contorted. So we wait, we sleep, we try to stay ourselves. You called yourself the life-taker. What does that mean? He shakes his blade, looking at the ground, at the wall, anywhere but you. I kill people. I protect my territory. He whispers, they feared me. The places where I walked, where I marked, they feared me. He trails off, muttering to himself. Does anyone fear me now I'm gone? Do they care? Do I care if they do? Never heard of him. Well, that means he's no one, or he's been here that long? She shakes her head and says no more. Where's the moor you mentioned? In these walls, in the floor, somewhere nearby, waiting. And it doesn't eat flesh or fear or murderous rage. No, it eats despair and waits until we're full of it, full to bursting. Do you mean to threaten me? I mean, he thinks deeply, apparently unaware of the answer, as if he's been going through the motions for so long he can't recall the reasons for them. Yes, I could threaten you. More than that, I could push you to the ground and chop you apart like the others. His fingers tighten over his dagger, and there are tears in his eyes anymore, the tears of a lost child. But it wouldn't matter, would it? Not anymore. Why demand a thing I won't use? Because that's how it's done, I suppose. Alright, farewell then.
I'm ready. I'm always ready.
And we could potentially do something with the tongue cluster, unless we did already. Okay, yep, let's allow the bloom voices to enter our mind. And channel the pain back into the bloom. We've been using so much tide. And now we can wrest control over them. Okay, you reach across a barrier that separates your consciousness from that of the tongues. They resist you at first, but your will is stronger than theirs, and their agitated voices subside. You find you can control their movements as if they were part of you. Okay. The roots of this tongue cluster grow thick beneath the floors of the chamber. Unlike the tongues you've encountered before, they seem cut off from the rest of the bloom. Now you're connected to the tongues, you hear whispers coming from nearby. Let's try and sense what's happening in the room. The tongue's roots form a tight web throughout the chamber, and their sense within the boundaries are unusually sharp. You can feel raw, burning pain where the bloom flesh chafes against an ancient metal suit. Something about the material irritates the flesh. In time it might be encysted, but until then the tongues will endure the pain. You can also sense the presence of Decor, but even to the sharp senses of these tongues he is barely perceptible. Thin and stretched, dissolving at the edges, a tiny core of despair is building within him, and everything else is being stripped away. Okay, find the source of the whispers. The roots of this cluster all grow to a corner of the room. It's a maw, you realize, another maw that's hidden itself from mortal sight. Indeed, by cutting this chamber off from the rest of the bloom, it's even managed to hide itself from other maws and tongues. This chamber is a blind spot, a locus of independent consciousness. It is, in essence, a separate being, a child of the bloom. Let's force the maw to reveal itself. You whisper to the maw, and your voice travels through the tongues and along the roots, joining the whispers of the maw, bending it to your will. After a few moments, the maw responds, shimmering into a being in the corner of a room. Commune with the maw. You can sense the mind of the maw, old, patient, and strong. Lines of energy emanate from it to touch every corner of the room. Its whispers have a cruel and dismal edge. You sense long millennia in the dark, feeding upon half-digested leavings of other maws. Okay. Break your connection to the tongues. So we've revealed this maw. We can now cut it open. We could also potentially feed Decor to it.
Go.
The other thing we could try and do would be to look down here.
I'm going.
Okay, so there's a bunch of predatory echoes and Herja. For a moment you don't recognize the slightly transparent apparition because blood obscures her features. When she turns towards you though, the sight of the armor and her memorable hair spikes your hair. It's Herja, the angular knight. She's digging at her forehead with a piece of sharpened bone, and her hands don't stop even as her eyes focus on you. Her mind is not blank exactly, but flat like a painting with no light or shadow. So let's go with you're a trained warrior, Herja. Surely you have the willpower to calm yourself before you do something rash. Or maybe this is no illusion, Herja. This is the result of the choices you made and the suffering you brought to so many. Do you want to be cruel? Or do we want to do something else? We can heal. What do these things do? Right, bloom juiced. No. Alright, let's go with deception. She scoffs and turns away, but then turns back and doubt is drawn in her eyes. You can't mean that. You can't. She studies your face and finds no hint of a lie. She wraps her arms around herself, rocking back and forth. No, 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 it can't be. As she whispers to herself, she gradually fades from view. Okay, so we will basically need to fight those to see what's down here, is what I'm getting from this. I'm fine with fighting some echoes. You come upon a familiar scene. More semi-transparent figures are locked in combat with one another. Faces twisted in mindless rage, they seem to tense at your presence and turn to regard you. This one is not like us. She was not eaten by the great devourer. No, she is here for our pleasure in the final hours of our lives. She raises her weapons. Her comrades do the same, baring teeth and hissing like animals. Time to fight. I probably should have healed people. Okay. Eridus. Let's see. Opportunist is something that we could probably do. Or we could just go up and can't attack you. You're slightly out of range, really. Wait, we got Fell Swoop. So if I move to say here and then Fell Swoop. Fell Swoop, this. Both of you? Yeah. And yeah, well, we can only use 1 point because that's all that we need to get both. You meant to hit both. What? Rude. Alright, might need to heal him. Balefire, that's right. Okay. And that also used up our chance to heal us. Heal someone else, sorry. Yeah. I'll hide, why not? I see. That's why not. I don't mind failing that. Yep, sure, end turn. Alright, Calistige. Flash. All enemies struck inside radius. That sounds good. And you know what? I'm just going to use up your intellect on this.
You are no match for me.
Okay. And let's do this. Get phased.
Into a single reality.
Cool, cool. Good to have something to distract. Now, enemies within range gain blinded. Okay, so basically if she runs up here, she can then use this field. Ah, interesting. And there's so many different abilities. Did I blind Eridus? No, I didn't. Good. Alright, Eridus. You failed me last time with Fell Swoop. But this time we're gonna do it. Crunch. Good. And Devouring Shell. Get, yeah, you know what? Use Spray Flesh on yourself. Good job. 5 rounds. Wow. Such blinded. Okay. Onslaught. Transdimensional. You die. Done. Calistige. And alright, now nope, we've already got the superposition, so no point in doing that. Yeah, and like that blind is doing good work for us. Okay. Madkina, execute this one. And that's it. And that one can fail. Eridus. Kill this one. You're done. Ah, didn't quite do enough to kill it. That's okay, Calistige can kill that one. Move up a little. Oh wait, she's got a weapon. That's right. No, that's a dumb idea. Let's use the magic. Magic it up.
Minimal effect. I can't have missed
Oh, not quite enough to kill it. Sad. Oh well. Balefire will, yep, do most of that. You can kill the one that's yet to act. And Eridus can kill the last one, and the fight is over. Alrighty. And instead... Who is this, the one from the marketplace? This dead woman bears numerous stab wounds, probably inflicted by the predatory echoes that seem to infest the gullet. Judging by the scrawled maps and notes stuffed among the things, she may have been an explorer or bloom guide. It looks as though her belts and pouches are mostly intact. Search the corpses. You kneel down next to the corpse and let your trained eyes rove over her body. Here, a pouch seems to bulge, and your hand dips in and returns with a handful of shins. There's a pocket there. A pocket lies flat, and you ignore it. You realize that the guide's belt is no such thing. It's a length of synth rope, as if it were about 15 meters long, and you touch it, and it uncoils from her waist, almost as if it were responding to your need. It coils itself towards you, and you place it among your possessions. So that, yep, seems like it will be useful in particular situations. Search the corpse again and find nothing of value. Okay, so these guys drop stuff. Shins, sure.
Yes.
Slightly annoying to actually interact with. Just
What's on your mind?
what's on my mind is, you sure you don't feel any difference since I spoke to the Nana Spirits? I think I'm still me, and that hasn't changed. Great. You're useless. As always. So this is irritatingly fiddly to get at. But we are actually getting things that are useful, which is annoying. Because if there was only ever useless things, I could just ignore them. Oh well. What would an RPG be like if you couldn't just loot the corpses as your enemies? Reefer bone is almost beautiful. Perhaps these are the skeletal remnants of the bloom's victims, transformed by the bloom for some purpose of its own. Okay, alright, this is the last one. Oh, black stone rings. A pair of linked rings made of a crisp, black stone-like substance. Together they're solid, the size of a clenched fist. But they can be disjoined and connected again, each time forming into perfect circles. And that's got a use, which means we will play around with it once we've done using things in this area. Alright, so what this tells me is I've got the item to block this off, and I use the rope to go down. That is my guess. Or I can use that more, and I think that more will come in handy. So, firstly, let's use those rings, wherever they are. Here. This curious object consists of a pair of heavy linked rings made of a black, stone-like substance. Locked together, they appear completely solid, roughly the size of a clenched fist. These rings are large enough to fit around a human wrist. Inspect the rings. Regarding them more closely, extract that they're not two separate rings, but two representations of the same ring. Putting your ear to them, you hear a slight hum of transdimensional power. You feel like this could be useful somehow, but it's not immediately apparent what use that would be. Makina snatches them from you without asking. Let me see those. She studies the rings and twists them apart. That's what I thought. Look, you wear one like this, and when you squeeze the band, you trade places with the person wearing its mate. It's useful, but... She laughs. I once worked with a pair of thieves who used something like this. Problem was, the younger of the two was so impressed by the pedigree of his partner, she didn't take the ring off between jobs. Came a time the older one sold a vault, got caught holding the loot, and he swapped out. Made a bag of shims for himself and quit the city while she went the devourer. She slips the ring off and tosses it to you. Good luck with him. Nice. Hence, and her thoughts are, well, it's full of bastards like that. Nice. Okay, yeah. So, consumes movement, swaps positions with ally. Well, let's give that to Eridus. He seems like the kind of person that would carry that. Okay, great. And I think everything else we can't really use on him. Yeah. Oh, did him picking that up cost him his artifact? He already, oh right, no, that's right. Grant Sucker Punch, got it, cool. Everything is fine then. So the question becomes, do I cut them all? Or do I rest to start using other things? Okay. The flesh of this moor is dark and scabrous. It keeps itself tightly shut, like the puckered mouth of an ancient crone. You can hear its voices. They are unusually sharp, almost painful to hear. Listen carefully to the voices of the moor. The voices spit and hiss. Their meaning is unclear but undeniably cruel. Still, you don't get the sense that the moor's eye is directed at you. It doesn't seem to react to your presence at all. Well, cut it open. Thrust the scalpel through the scabrous flesh of the moor and begin to saw through its puckered mouth. The Bloom's voices respond with a shriek of rage. Skin tears, gristle snaps, and the moor opens. And where does it lead? Huh, okay.
Yes.
So, I have a feeling that this leads to the same place as the hole will lead. But there's only one way really to verify that. And that is to block this off. Use the sealant spray to block the flow of liquid or the sealant bomb. Let's use the bomb. You drop the metal orb in the opening and it explodes, stopping the flow of the bile with a blob of instantly hardening synth. The blocked arteries swell and bulge, but they show no immediate signs of rupture. The last liquid of the pool drains out. There's a hole in the bottom, an entry into a lower chamber. Now you just need to find a way down.
All right.
So some of the water effects haven't gone away. You tie the obedient rope to the tube cluster and use it to descend. There we go. Have to let go of the rope to drop the last meter. Well, you find yourself in a chamber of raw, throbbing flesh. The beating sound is much louder here. Beneath your feet, the bloom flesh trembles and seethes, as if your touch is abhorrent. During the time you spent in the bloom, it's grown to hate you. Its whole consciousness is focused on you now, ready to unleash its fury. Oh, that's a pity. Then I actually want to go back to this autosave, because then I want to explore the other chamber. I was wrong. So clearly, it doesn't lead to where we thought it does. And I want to see what's over here. So, I mean, this will be another fight. Which means, you know what I should do? I should actually use some of those healing abilities I have not been using on various people. Okay, Calistige. Get healed. Makina. Get a little healed. Eridus. Also get a little healed. This is why there's daily charges, because frankly, otherwise I could just spam forever. And encroaching darkness on Eridus. Oh, that's only on me. Well, that was a waste. We've also got healing items, so... Towering before you stands a massive rib bone with most of the flesh eaten away. Look, it's a maw! Okay, Eridus. First one to go is that one. So, Fell Swoop, Hook. Just charge in. We should have Sucker Punch as an ability, but whatever.
My attack didn't feel strong at all.
Right, and so they're gonna port around. Fortunately, you're immune to being flanked. Okay.
I'm barely hurting it.
Animated Balefire. And that's about it, right? I could potentially do some other pieces, but I don't really see much point. Yeah. So instead what we'll do is we will move over here and try and be a little more central for inspiration purposes. You go over here.
Well, I feel better.
And that one. Can't actually pick one, can I? That does nothing other than put people around. Okay, sure, the animate balefire is in trouble, but that's kind of its role in life. Okay. Now, Makina. You can do weapon damage to various things. Actually, one thing I should do. Ah, yes, also Warp Dash is uses movement, so I should use both of those. But one thing I was wondering, if I go to Journal? Codex. Codex, that's what I was looking for. So these are Bloom... not Bloom Dwellers. Factions and cults. Creatures. More doesn't... Alright, it's not like we get stats from that, so I can't tell what they are gonna be hit by. Okay. Put there.
A little surprise for you. I can barely scratch this thing.
Okay, now. What if we do chemical? Doesn't look like they're that, yeah, sure. Alright. Balefire or Calistige? Balefire. Bye bye Balefire. We knew ye hardly at all. Okay. Hook. You. No. Wait, what? Oh, I did Opportunist. Ah! And then I just wasted Opportunist. That's annoying.
I'm barely hurting it.
Okay. A humanoid corpse. We need a corpse to do that, though. Alrighty. So, what do we have? Incite action. And that would allow me to get you. Pick an enemy. Let's go with this one. 18 damage is more than I do. Oh, also critted. Nice. And anything else? Nah.
You cannot contain me, fools.
No, we'll do this. Oh, that did no damage last time either. You know what? Instead... there's no point. They got 5 armor to it. All that does is teleport her around. How about you just phase out? Kelly? Done. Everyone attacks Eridus. Oh god. That noise. That's pretty freaking loud. Alright, you. No. This? Chemical. Nope. Wait, what if I did energy? Nope. Transdimensional is also the same. Mental? It's all the same. Well, fine then. Excellent. Go and miss her. Perfect. Now you. Bring him back. And then fell swoop. I said fell swoop. Okay, good. Alright, sure. And just kill. Good. Ish. Still got a couple to kill. I guess we focus on the one with 13 and the one with 5. So the bloom flesh armor does something. Right, I can get another animate balefire. Okay. Yes, we get another animate balefire. I think it's better to have another target for them than anything else. And we move away a little.
I think they have me surrounded.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not actually super inspired by your abilities here, Kelly. How about you just end your turn? Good. This is why you exist, Balefire. Although you also seem to not ever pick on the right one. But that's fine, I guess. Makina. Just kill this one.
Yes.
Yep, good. Attack the Balefire. Fantastic. Eridus. If you go down here,
Of course.
you can fell swoop again. It's my favorite kind of swoop. Nope, wait. Let's actually do the one where we got 2 people. If you can call them people.
Victorious!
Excellent. Double death. Now, I can just, wait, I can move up. Thank you very much. Inspire people with my awesomeness. And then just do 15 damage. Just 15 damage straight through. It's a deal. Also dazed it. Nice. Yeah, you can do nothing. You couldn't hurt it before. You won't be able to hurt it now. And Makina, go in. Take it down. Heroically.
Yes.
Punched in the face. Okay, now we've got the Kopash Gilmore thing. Okay. Got it. Whatever this creature was, its stomach was enormous. The organ pulses with distended with gas, and something else rumbles in its depth, as if trapped. Foul acidic juices ooze from torn holes in the viscera. It hisses and steams when it drips onto bloom flesh. Quick fingers. Let's see. Matkina. You are the speedster. Get it. Makina reaches into the holes in the viscera, shoving her arms through rotting intestines, gritting her teeth against the burning pain of acids and bile deep within. And she feels dim movement and thrusts her arm even deeper into the stomach, immersing herself to the shoulder. A questing tendril touches her hand. Instinctively, she tries to withdraw, but that tendril wraps it tight around her wrist. Its touch is unmistakable. The thing that was trapped in the stomach is a maw. More tendrils grab onto her hand, pulling their way towards freedom. Bloom tongues rip through the decaying intestines, spraying stomach juices in every direction. Then the great mouth appears, bursting through the dead flesh. Its tendrils sink into the viscera, anchoring itself in place. You realize that the maw must have been feeding on something inside the creature's stomach, because it's already sated. Its orifice opens wide and a portal appears. Okay. Oh wow, look, here's the head. Oh, this is so creepy.
Yes.
Ah, I see. Pathing. Pathing! The head of the creature was truly massive, though the flesh has been eaten away, probably by the same corpuscular maws that attacked you. Parts of the skull are missing, revealing a huge glistening brain. An organic sheath still encases the brain. It looks as if the brain's cranial juices have protected it from serious decomposition. Examine the brain. The brain sheath hasn't decayed, though a strange pungent smell emanates from it. Perhaps that's why the corpuscular maws left the brain alone. Its tissues don't seem to be too badly damaged. Okay, I'm just gonna keep using the tides. Restore activity of the brain. You concentrate on the flux and pull the tides, on the pull of the tides within you. You send them surging out into the creature's dead mind. Its neck jerks a bit. A simulacrum of life floods into its brainstem. You see arcs of movement, small ripples in the surface. The monster is still thoroughly dead, but its brain reacts to the power you've spilled into it. Several clusters of nerve at the base of the brain begin twitching spasmodically. They may still be connected to other parts of the creature's body. Try to scan the creature's thoughts. The creature's thoughts are disjointed and confused. Its final memories flash into your mind. The slate and fuchsia sky above you threatens another spate of the oily slurry it's regurgitated for the last 1,000 years. Hunger tears your belly, the first signs of impending starvation. You've ruled these vast lands for the centuries of your life, torn your supremacy from the throats of all who would challenge you. And yet, something has changed. The very air has torn asunder, creating a new floating rift that leads to another place. A place that smells of raw flesh. You dive into the rift, suddenly finding yourself in a very different place, a paradise where everything is made of meat. Ravenous, you heave yourself towards the nearest wall of flesh, scattering a horde of tiny two-legged creatures that aren't worth a moment's attention. You tear chunks from the wall, chewing and swallowing. The meat is tough and foul-tasting, but it's food and you're starving. You eat and eat, carving your way through the wall. Falling through into another chamber, you see a protuberance of flesh nearby, surrounded by wiggling tendrils. It looks delicious, so you tear it from the wall and swallow it whole. The entire world shakes. More creatures spill from the walls, but these have lashing tendrils and shining maws. They fall upon you, chewing and annihilating, and you bellow in pain. The world shakes again, and a whole chamber collapses upon you, trapping you, holding you fast as the little monsters devour you, bite by bite. Your death is long and agonizing. The vision fades. You are alone with the beast. Examine the brain again. Nope. Examine the nerve clusters at the base of the brain. 3 separate bundles stand out. They look as though they're connected to specific parts of the creature's body. It's hard to determine which is which, though, and you'll have to spend some time figuring out which cluster leads where. And so we can try and determine it, because we are super good at intellect tasks, so it's child's play. You poke and prod at each cluster, watching how the creature's muscles react and tracing the path of tangled nerves. Your diligence pays off. You can see that one cluster attaches to the shoulder, another attaches to the back, a third cluster runs down to the intestines. Something in the brain is sending and receiving impulses along the tattered nerves. You may be able to manipulate the entire corpse from here. Manipulate the back nerves. The whole back of the corpse contracts and heaves. Chunks of rotting flesh tumble to the ground. You hear a wet snap as fibers separate somewhere in the spine. You won't be able to try that again. Shoulder nerves. One shoulder and massive arm of the creature shifts slightly. The decomposed liver begins to tighten on its grip on the bloom flesh, but it quickly relaxes again. And the intestinal nerves, nothing happens. The maw grumbles fitfully. Okay. That was pretty cool. Okay, so this, we can actually kind of go further down. So this is like a big lizardy thing. Cool. Alrighty. Well, next time round we'll see where this goes. Until then, have a great day. Bye.